On April 6, 1896, the opening ceremonies for the very first modern Olympics was held in Athens, Greece. There was over 14 nations and 241 athletes participating in 9 different sports, and an event that lasted over 9 days. Here's the story behind the very first modern Olympics, today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide to a rapid deep dive into sports history. Now, the ancient Olympic Games, held in Greece with a number of athletic competitions for people to help honor the gods such as Zeus. Well, fast forward thousands of years into the 19th century, they had stopped doing the Olympics, but many were starting to do Olympic-like sports. In 1859, 1870, and 1875, Greek businessmen sponsored an Olympic-type event at the Parthenon Stadium in Greece, which had recently been refurbished and had an audience of over 30,000 people. One of those men was Pierre de Coubertin, a French prodigy and historian, who had the idea to do this event, but open it not just in Greece, but to the whole world. Because it wasn't just Greece that was holding these types of events. There were small athletic events happening across the world where people were trying to show the great skill they had against everyone in the region. So Pierre tried to get everyone he could together that might have an interest in this global event. In 1894, they all met for a congress in Paris, where there was a total of 11 countries represented. And he laid out his proposal for the first modern Olympic Games. And he suggested it actually be held in Paris, as he was a Frenchman. But one of the people there was the King of Greece. He said the first Olympic should be held where it all started, in Athens, Greece, as they had most of the original locations. And they wanted to start earlier, and not in 1900, but in 1896. They all eventually agreed, and they later became known as the International Olympic Committee. But it wasn't all hunky-dory and easy to get started, as Greece wasn't the most financially viable place. They needed help. So they started to raise money, doing fundraising, and selling tickets ahead of time to help pay for all the renovations they needed. So the IOC group got together in 1894 to set some rules for the games. They said that only amateur athletes should participate and set the rules for all the events they wanted to have. They did decide that only men should participate. As Pierre said, women's inclusion would be impractical, uninteresting, and incorrect. Just shows you the difference in the time. So there would be 7 venues that they would host the 1896 Summer Olympics. The Parthenon was the main venue and would host 4 of the 9 contests. The city of Marathon would host the marathon event. Swimming would be held in the Bay of Zay, so they wouldn't have to spend money to make a pool. Fencing would be at the Zapion. Shooting events would be at the Kalieth. And tennis would be at the Athens Lawn Tennis Club. Now, the events they eventually decided on including were athletics, cycling, fencing, gymnastics, swimming, tennis, weightlifting, and wrestling. Between those 9 sports, they would have 43 different events. Now, one thing that they did decide on, that they didn't set in place, that later became popular, was they did not have everyone separated by nation. Sure, they would represent their nation wherever they went, but they would not be nation teams. Each athlete would be there individually, and retroactively, they would separate them by country, as we have a medal count for that first Olympics. But each one was there, not by their country, but by themselves. And on Easter Monday, April 6th, was the very first opening ceremony. This was very different than what we have today. Although there were many in attendance, and there was a parade, there was not the flame that we are used to, and not everyone walked with their country. But there was 9 bands and 150 choirs singing throughout the opening ceremonies. And the awards for winning were very different. They would wait till the final day of the games, where the king would actually hold a banquet with all the athletes and give them their award after a speech. First place would get a silver medal, along with an olive branch and a diploma, and the runner-up would get a copper medal with a laurel branch and a diploma, and third place would receive nothing. And there were 14 countries represented in this Olympics, including Austria, Australia, Bulgaria, Chile, Denmark, France, Germany, Great Britain, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United States. And the final medal count, when they retroactively separated them by country, ended up with the United States on top with 11 golds, with Greece close behind with 10, and Germany finishing in third. And Greece did finish with the most medals, but they also had 10 times the amount of athletes as any other country in the event, as it was their home event. Later, they would change much during the first few iterations of the Olympics. Change it to go every 4 years, change the location that hosted it, and adding women to the participation, as well as other athletic events. But this was a great start to allow a peaceful competition around the world for everyone to watch and enjoy the time every 4 years that we got to see the Olympics. Thank you for listening to today's Daily Sports History. If you like this, please like and subscribe wherever you're listening. That always puts a smile on my face anytime I see a review or a like. It makes me so happy, and I love to hear how you are enjoying the show and anything we can do to make it better. And come back tomorrow for more Daily Sports History.